So I'll have just a few minutes. You will need a strap today. If you don't have a strap, grab a hold of a tie, a belt, whatever you have handy. And we will make our way to our backs this morning. Again, still a little time to go. And I would also have either a block or a bolster handy as well. And we'll make our way to our backs this morning. And depending on how your body feels, I usually like to start with my knees bent, my feet on my mat, and my knees falling into one another. And that just releases the low back. It allows the low back to spread. But you can also start off with the legs extended out long. Again, props you'll need is a strap, a belt, and a block or a pillow, whatever you have handy around the house. And we'll start here on our backs and allow our eyes to close. Bring your hands somewhere on the body, maybe both hands on the belly, one hand at the belly, one hand at the heart. And take these first few moments just to check in with yourself. Notice where your body is at. Notice where the mind is at. Notice where the breath is at. And we do our best not to label these things as good or as bad, but just acknowledging where we're at today so we can allow it to guide our practice. And I'll invite you to draw a little closer towards the breath. Noticing your inhales and your exhales. Notice if the air fills up the belly more, fills up the chest. And at first, we're not changing anything about our normal way of breathing. We're just observing our breath. And I'll invite you now to bring more awareness to the breath by allowing the inhales and exhales just to come through the nose. Filling up the low belly, the stomach, the rib cage, and up into your heart. And the exhale, the breath gently releases all back and down. Inhaling again from the lowest part of your belly, allow that air to travel all the way up into your heart. And exhale, release it all back and down. And maintain this connection to your breath as we travel throughout the practice, knowing the breath will guide you. Releasing your hands down near your hips, windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Allow your legs to come back to neutral. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Gently rock side to side here. Massage your low back. Happy baby pose. Heels of the feet up towards the ceiling. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Release your thighs down, maybe rocking side to side here on your back. Hug your knees back in towards the chest. Gently plant your feet down onto the mat. Grab a hold of your block or your pillow and your strap and bring it up against your right hip. Hug your right knee in towards you, moving it in towards the chest, towards the belly. Maybe take some circles with that right knee, taking it out across the body, taking it to the side, just warming up your right hip. And whichever direction you're moving in, start to move in the opposite direction. Hug your right knee back in towards you. Grab a hold of your belt or your strap, and we're strapping up the right foot. Having the right leg just straight up above you, connecting the hip back into the socket so you're not moving the leg closer towards you. You're flexing through your right foot and you're pressing up through the big toe mound of your right foot. So that right leg is active. You feel the right thigh firm. That knee is pointing straight towards you. And you have the option here to keep your left knee bent, your foot on your mat, or you'll straighten the left leg out towards the front of the room. And if you straighten the left leg out, keep the right leg exactly how it is. So right leg is right over the hip, connecting back into that hip socket. And you activate through your left leg, now flexing the left toes, rolling the inner thigh down on that left side, feeling that left leg glued down to the mat. And just pause here, waking up the hamstrings this morning. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, bend your elbows out to the side, moving the leg a little closer towards you. And only go far enough to where you can still keep your left leg active. So if your left leg is straight, you're still flexing to that left foot, left thigh is moving down towards the mat. If your left knee is bent, your knee is still parallel. So it's up towards the ceiling, it's not splaying out to the side or rolling in. So have stability on that left side as you stretch through the right. And just breathe, waking up the back of that right leg, your hamstring. Supta Padangusthasana, hand to big toe pose. It's a little easier to do when you have the strap rather than reaching your hand there. Move the strap now just into your right hand. Have your block or your bolster or pillow up against your right hip. And we'll take the left arm out to the side again to keep that stability on the left side as we gently exhale the leg over to the right. And you have your block there, your book, your bolster, and you have that to support that right hip. And we breathe here. So now you find that stretch not only in your right hamstring, but the right inner leg traveling down into the left. Soft and smooth breathing. And with the leg moving to the right, we allow the abdominals to move to the left, which seems like something hard to do, but that's just for you to maintain that stability on the left side. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, move the leg back to neutral. Bring the strap now into your left hand. Use your right thumb to get into that right hip crease, sending the right hip forward, so keeping your hips even. Take the right arm out to the side, and on the exhale, we take the leg over to the left this time. Doesn't have to go too far, but just enough to where you find that stretch and that right outer hip, the right outer leg, your IT band, and breathe. Take an inhale, exhale back to neutral. Release your right leg down to meet the left. And you may feel like the right side's longer than the left. At least I always do when I do this pose. So of course we have to do the left side. So we'll move the block and the strap over to the left side. Let's hug both knees back in towards the chest, massage the low back. Plant the feet down onto the mat. Hug your left knee down and towards you. Find those hip circles on the left side. Take your knee out to the side, take it across the body. And of course, move in the opposite direction. Hug the left knee back in towards you. Now, option to keep this right leg exactly how it is. Foot grounded down, knee up towards the ceiling, or you can straighten the right leg out. We'll belt up the left foot, extending that leg straight up above us. And we're activating now through both legs. If you have your right leg straight, so you're flexing through your right toes just as you are the left toes. You're pressing up to the big toe mound of your left foot. And at first, you're just connecting the hip back into the socket, not moving the leg closer towards you. And just breathe here, waking up that left hip, the left leg. Take an inhale. On the exhale, we bend the elbows out to the side, moving that left leg closer towards us while still keeping the right leg active. So that right thigh is still rolling down. You're still flexing through that right foot. Breathe here. And you may notice one leg gets a little closer to you than the other, and that's okay. Just waking up that left hamstring, finding stability on the right side of our body. Moving the strap now into our left hand, taking the right arm out to the side to keep that grounding sensation on the right. We take the leg over to the left and we breathe. Now you're finding that stretch through that left inner leg down into the right. And we kind of revolve ourselves from left to right to keep that stability on the right side of our body. Allow your left leg to come back up to neutral. Move the strap now into your right hand. Use your left thumb, get into that left hip crease. Allow the hips to be even. Then take your left arm out to the side and take your left leg to the right. It doesn't have to go too far. Just enough to where you find that stretch in the outer left leg, your IT band. Breathe here. Bring it back to neutral. And then release that left leg down to meet the right. You can move your block and your strap out of the way. You won't need them. Take the arm straight back behind you. Take a full body stretch back. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Let's take happy baby again and just notice if there's a difference in your happy baby now. Maybe the legs feel a little more awake. Maybe it's easier to get the legs apart and take the legs down. Breathe here. Hug your knees back in towards your chest. Extend your legs straight up above you. Scoot myself a little forward so you can see a little easier. Flex through your toes. Roll your inner thighs towards the front or the back of the mat. And extend your arms straight back behind you. So you're flexing through your feet here, pressing up to the big toe mound of both feet. Bring the hands behind the head. You can interlace the fingers if you'd like. Taking the elbows out wide, broadening through our collarbones. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, crunch up. And on the inhale, release yourself down. Deep breath in, exhale, we crunch. Inhale, we release. A few more like that. Exhale to crunch, keeping the elbows out to the side, still broadening through the collarbones. Keeping our neck nice and long. Exhale to crunch. And release. The next exhale, crunch, pause. Take your right elbow towards the left knee. Find that twist. Bring it back to neutral. And then take it to the opposite side. Twist. Bring it back to neutral. And release yourself down. 2 more times just like that. Crunching up. Right elbow to the left knee. Left elbow to the right knee. Keeping the legs just straight up above you, but twisting the elbows. And then release. One last time, crunching up on the exhale. And then take it right to left. Center. And then left to right. Center. and release. Great job, guys. So you have the option just to repeat that. If you'd like, we'll start to add into the legs. So we take an inhale. On the exhale, we crunch up. We take the right elbow towards the left knee and we lower the right leg down. And you have the option, you may just stay right here. You may take your right arm outside that right thigh and twist just a little more. And we do this in isolation. We're not moving too fast. We're holding here. And then we bring everything back to center and we switch sides. And we breathe. Notice if you hold your breath while you're doing abdominals, it does not make it easier, trust me. Bring it back to center and then switch sides. So a lot of times we feel like we have to move super fast to get our bodies active, and that's not the case. Today will be a slower flow. Really, it's about the movement, the quality of the movement versus the quantity or how fast you're going. And there's benefits of moving fast. There's also benefits of moving slow. Great job, guys. Just a few more like that. Make these your last two. And your last one. And then lift, hold, draw your low belly in. Broaden through your collarbones, activate through your legs again. I forgot about them too. And then release, hug your knees in towards your chest. Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Start to rock and roll back and forth along your spine as if you're rolling like a ball. And we'll roll ourselves up into tabletop. Shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. Taking a couple rounds of cat and cow. Inhale opens up the chest, arching through the back. On the exhale, we scoop the navel and roll the shoulders forward. Inhaling for cow. Exhaling for cat. Moving with our breath. Finding awareness of being on our hands. Waking up the spine, the shoulders, the pelvis, the hips. Allow yourself to come to a neutral spine, tabletop position. Walk your knees in together till they touch. Tuck your toes. Keep grounding down through your hands. On your inhale, take the left knee out to the side, firming into that right hip. Then take the leg back down. Left knee out to the side. Take it back down. Left knee out to the side, pause. Hip circles on that left side. Still firming into the right hip. Breathe. Whichever direction you're moving, move in the opposite direction. Take the leg back out to the side, hold. You may even play with straightening the left leg completely out. Bend that left knee, bring the knee back down to meet the right. Pause for a moment before we move into the other side. We'll inhale that right knee out to the side, and then we bring it back in. Inhale it out to the side, keeping that left side steady, bring it back in. Inhale out to the side, hip circles. Keep on breathing here. Whichever direction you're moving, move in the opposite direction. Take the knee out to the side. You may play with straightening the leg all the way out. Bring it back in and release the knee down. Take a couple rounds of cat and cow. You can keep the toes tucked and breathe. Great job, guys. Allow yourself to come back to a neutral spine, tabletop position. Walk your hands a little out in front of you. Grounding down through your hands, find that rotation in the upper arms, biceps forward, triceps back. Keeping your toes tucked, hover your knees above your mat. And just hold here. Draw the low belly in and breathe. Moving your chest a little closer towards your knees. Finding that spine getting nice and long. Thing to straighten, be your leg. Pedal out your feet a bit. Moving the hips side to side. Our first downward dog of the day. Grounding down through your hands. Send that energy up and back into your hips. Extending your thighs back behind you, moving your chest a little closer towards your thighs. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, lower the hips down into a plank pose. Pause here. Holding plank, shoulders over wrist. Extending back to the heels of the feet. Draw the low belly in. Lower your knees down to tabletop. Take a couple rounds of cat and cow. I know we weren't expecting that. It's a slow flow. You'll see where it goes. I promise to continue to make it challenging. Great job, guys. Find that neutral spine. Walk your hands just a little out in front of you. Tuck your toes, hover your knees, draw your low belly in. Ground down through your hands here. Breathe. Move the chest closer towards the knees. Send the legs up and back. Downward facing dog. See if you can automatically find stillness this time. Grounding down through the hands, sending that energy up and back into your hips. Take a deep breath in. Exhale your hips down into our good friend plank pose. Pausing here for a few breaths. Pressing down through the hands just as much as you are the big toe mounds of your feet. Draw the low belly in. Find that line of energy from the crown of the head back into the heels of the feet. Then lower your knees down. Take a couple rounds of cat and cow. Great job, guys. Come back to your neutral spine. Some of you, your hands may already be in position. Some of you will walk your hands a little forward. Tuck your toes, hover your knees. Here for just a few inhales and exhales. Draw that low belly in, firm into those outer hips. Then start to take the hips up and back. Slowly moving your chest closer to your knees. Straighten out your legs, downward facing dog. Find stillness and breathe. Great job, everybody. One last time, take an inhale. Exhale your hips down into plank pose and hold. Shoulders over wrist, extending back to the heels of the feet. Draw that low belly in. Breathe. Great job, everybody. Keep on breathing. Lower your knees down. Few rounds of cat and cow. Find your neutral spine. Toes are tucked as you pick up the knees, hovering them. Hold here. Draw the low belly in. Move the chest towards the knees. Then straighten out the legs slowly. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Soft and smooth breathing. Walk your hands back towards your feet. You may take your feet out as wide as your mat. And find a forward fold at the back of the mat. Hang loose. Grab opposite elbows, sway side to side. Soft and smooth breathing here. Allow your hands to come to your hips. Have a slight bend in your knees. Come all the way up to standing. Great job, guys. Let's meet at the top of the mat. Ground down through your feet, rolling your inner thighs back, releasing the tailbone down, broadening through your collarbones. Stand up nice and tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. On the inhale, we take the arms up above us. On the exhale, release the hands behind your back. Have a slight bend in your knees, interlace your fingers, broaden through your collarbones. Keep that slight bend in your knees as you start to forward fold it down. Keeping the arms or the hands, interlace the arms up above you. For a breath, release the fingertips down. Inhale to lengthen the spine halfway. On the exhale, plant the hands down. Let's step back into plank pose. Hold in plank for a breath. Lower all the way down onto your bellies. Release your toes back behind you. Pressing down all the way out into the pinky toe. Interlace your fingers behind the back. Keep the feet glued down, pressing down so much your kneecaps lift, your thighs are active. Inhale, lift the head, neck, and chest only. It's a modified cobra or a modified locust. Shooting those knuckles back behind you. Exhale, releases you down. Hands come down towards your low ribs. Press up into plank pose. And send it up and back for downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths here in downward dog. Soft and smooth breathing. Great job, everybody. When you're ready, look up towards your hands, bend your knees, walk or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthens our spine halfway. Exhale to forward fold it down. Ground down through your feet. Inhale, takes the arms up above you. Palms pressed. Hands to our heart center. Inhale the arms up above you. On the exhale, release the hands behind the back. Slight bend in the knees. Interlace your fingers. Broaden through your collarbones. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Forward, fold it down, keeping the arms up above you and the fingers interlaced, creating a little space in the upper body. Exhale to release the fingertips down. Inhale to lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, plants the hands down, step back into a plank pose. Hold here. Then lower all the way down onto your bellies, releasing your toes back behind you. Bringing the forehead down onto the mat, we'll interlace the fingers. Inhale to lift the head, neck, and chest, shooting the knuckles back. Exhale to release it down. Planting our hands down near the ribs, pressing up to plank pose. And up and back to down dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Come hike into the heels of your feet, bend your knees, look up towards your hands, walk or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthens our spine halfway. Exhale to forward, fold it down. Grounding down through your feet. Inhale, takes the arms up, palms pressed, hands to our heart center. Inhale, the arms up above you. Exhale, releases the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers, broaden through your collarbones, have a slight bend in your knees here. Take an inhale. On the exhale, hinge from your hips. Forward, fold it down, keeping the arms extended up, fingers interlaced. Breathe here. Lifting your shoulder blades up. Releasing the fingertips down towards the mat. We inhale to lengthen up halfway. On the exhale, we plant down the hands. We step back into plank pose, and we'll lower all the way down onto our bellies. Releasing our toes back behind us, forehead down to the mat. Interlace the fingers. See if you can change your interlace. And on the inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest. Broaden through those collarbones. Find that space in the upper body. Exhale, releases you down. Plant the hands down near your ribs and press yourself up to plank and back to down dog. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. Just a modified version of a sun salute A. Keep on breathing. Walk your feet out as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Find that wide leg forward fold. Hang loose a little bit. Grab opposite elbows, sway side to side. Release your fingertips down towards your toes. You'll toe your feet in till they're about hip distance apart. Bring your hands to your low back, interlacing your fingers. Take the knuckles up above you, finding the shoulder heads lifting up away from the mat. Finding that space in between the shoulder blades. Have a deep bend in your right knee, twist to the left, and straighten the left leg as much as you can. And then we'll switch. Deep bend in the left, straighten out the right, twist to the right. Then bring it back to center. Release your fingers down. Inhale to lengthen the spine. On the exhale, crawl your hands back out, our good friend downward facing dog. Breathe here. Spreading your fingers evenly, planting down through the palms, sending that energy up and back into your hips. Soft and smooth breathing. Inhale extends our right leg up and back, three-legged dog hold. Bend into that right knee, open up the right hip, circle that right hip. Take the leg straight back behind you. Option to stay here. If you'd like, keeping all 10 fingers glued down to the mat, we'll find some abdominal work. We'll exhale knee to nose and crunch it in. We'll inhale it up and back. Exhale knee to nose, crunch it in. Inhale it up and back. Exhale, bend the knee. Bring it in towards the nose. Shift your hips forward. Step that right foot to the top of the mat. Ground down through your feet. On your inhale, come all the way up. Crescent pose on the right side and breathe. Having a nice deep bend in the front knee, allow it to track with the second toe. You may have a slight bend in your left knee here if you're still waking up that hip flexor. And we're guiding our hips towards the front of the room. We breathe. Release the hands behind the back. Interlace your fingers, broaden through your collarbones. Maybe gaze up towards the ceiling. Sweep the arms back up above you. Exhale, release the hands down. Frame your right foot. Keep your left hand down where it's at, and then take your right arm up, twist. Breathe. Had to think about that for a second. Soft and smooth breathing. Great job, guys. Exhale to release that right hand down. Step your foot back into a plank pose, lowering all the way down onto your bellies. Release the toes back, interlace your fingers again. Inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest. Now you can always take the regular vinyasa if you choose. There is a reason for my madness in taking this variation, but it's up to you. Exhale, release it down. Plant your hands down, press up to plank and up and back for down dog. Take a few inhales and exhales here in down dog. Soft and smooth breathing. Inhale takes the left leg up and back, bending the knee, opening up the hips, circle out that hip. Keep all 10 fingers glued down onto the mat. Take the leg back behind you. Exhale, knee to nose, crunch it in. Inhale it up and back. Exhale, knee to nose, crunch it in. Inhale it up and back. Exhale, bend that knee, move it towards the front of the mat, and step that foot forward. Grounding down through your feet, come all the way up. Crescent pose on the left. Breathe. Soft and smooth breathing. Release the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers, broaden through your collarbones, maybe gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale the arms back up above you. Exhale to release the hands down, finding your twist. Right hand down, left arm up, breathe. Exhale to release the left hand down, stepping back into our plank pose, lowering all the way down onto our bellies, releasing the toes back, interlacing the fingers. Inhale, lift the head, neck, and chest. Exhale it down, plant your hands down, pressing up to plank and up and back. Down dog, deep breath in and deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out, and breathe. Inhale takes the right leg up and back, this time just holding the leg. And notice as we hold, it still takes abdominal work. You're using the abdominals to keep the leg lifted. Keeping all 10 fingers glued down, elbows are still firming in. On the exhale, bend the knee, step the right foot to the top of the mat. Ground down through your feet, come all the way up. Crescent pose on the right, sweep up those arms and breathe. And as you move through these postures, stay connected to your breath. It's not just a checklist. We're not just checking these off. We're breathing, we're connecting here. We're scanning the body just like we did at the beginning, noticing where the body's at. Release your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, broaden through your collarbones. Breathe here, shoot those knuckles down. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to release the hands down. Finding our twist, left hand down, right fingertips up. Extending back through the left leg is active. Thigh is firming up as if it could reach the ceiling. Firming into that right hip. Exhale to release the hand down, stepping back to our plank pose, lowering all the way down to the belly. Releasing our toes back behind us. Interlacing our fingers. Inhale to lift the head, neck, and chest again. Exhale it down. Plant the hands down, pressing up to plank. And up and back for down dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale takes our left leg up and back, and we're just holding. Noticing even as we hold, we're activating the abdominals, keeping that left leg lifted. On the exhale, we'll bend the knee, step the foot to the top of the mat, ground down through our feet, come all the way up. Crescent pose on the left side. Breathe. Releasing the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, broaden through your collarbones. Breathe. Inhale the arms back up. Exhale to release the hands down, finding our twist. Right hand down, left fingertips up, twist. Exhale to release the left hand down. Step back into your plank pose and lower all the way down to your belly. Release the toes back behind you. Interlace the fingers. Inhale to lift the head, neck, and chest. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down, press up to plank. Send it up and back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Walk your feet out as wide as your mat. Walk those hands back towards your feet. Wide leg forward fold, hang loose. Grab opposite elbows, sway side to side. You may have a deep bend in your knees here. And just breathe. So yoga is this big dance between opening and releasing. So you'll notice we have all these poses where we really open up the body, and then we counteract by finding places like this, a forward fold. So it kind of combines the light and the dark, the opening and the closing. Release the fingertips down, heel toe your feet in, so they're about hip distance apart. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Shoot the knuckles up towards the ceiling, have a deep bend in the right knee, twist to the left, and then switch, twisting to the right. And then have a deep bend in both knees, release your fingertips down. Hands to your hips, come all the way up to standing. Let's meet at the top of the mat. Great job, guys. Release your hands down, breathe here, Tadasana Mountain Pose. Grounding down, letting that energy radiate through the crown of the head. Bend your knees, sit your hips nice and low, chair pose, sweep up the arms and breathe. Inhale up to standing, palms pressed, hands to our heart center. Sit back down, nice and low, chair pose, sweep up your arms. Exhale to forward, fold it down. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands down, step back into plank. If you want to take traditional vinyasa, you can. I'm continuing with lowering down, interlacing the fingers, opening up through the head, neck, and chest. It'll come in handy, I promise. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down, press up to plank, and up and back. Down dog. Breathe. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Great job, guys. Exhale your hips down into plank pose. Pause here for a moment. Draw that right knee in towards your nose, crunch it in. Send your leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, step your right foot to the top of the mat. Come all the way up for crescent pose and breathe here. Release the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, broaden through your collarbones. Inhale the arms up above you. Palms press, hands to your heart center. Ground down to the outer edge of your left heel. Walk your right foot more to the center of the mat. Open up the chest, warrior two. Find that extension from wrist to wrist. Breathe. Great job, guys. Taking a little variation in our warrior two. Right elbow comes out in front. Left arm underneath, palms press. Eagle arms in warrior two. Breathe here. So now we're moving our body in that opposite direction. We're not opening up. We're allowing the shoulder blades to roll forward, the shoulder blades to dome. Breathe here. Keep that nice deep bend in your front knee. Allow it to track with the second toe. And ground down to the outer edge of your left foot. Extend the arms out, warrior two. On the exhale, windmill your hands down, frame the right foot. Pivot onto your left toes, find your twist. Left hand down, right fingertips up. Breathe here. Exhale to release the hand down. Stepping back for your variation of vinyasa. If you're following on with me, we did the interlace. We inhale up, our modified cobra. We exhale it down. We press up to plank and meet in down dog. And then we breathe a few inhales and exhales here. Soft and smooth breathing. Exhaling the hips down into plank. Drawing the left knee in towards the nose, crunching it in, holding. Sending it up and back for a three-legged dog. Then we'll exhale, bend the knee, step the foot to the top of the mat. Come all the way up for crescent pose. Breathe. So just notice the difference between your crescent and your warrior two. Crescent, we're facing neutral. Warrior two, we're open up to the side. Release the hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, broaden through the collarbones. And bring some awareness here because your body will be doing the opposite soon. Take the arms up above you. Palms press, hands to our heart center. Grounding down to the outer edge of the right heel. Walking that left foot more to the center of the mat. Opening up our chest to the side. Feel that difference here. So our hips are still swaying towards the front of the room. You can't really square your hips, and you really shouldn't try to. It's not really good on the hips, and that's okay. But we're opening up our chest to the side. There's a different orientation with our body here. And we'll take the left elbow out in front, right arm underneath, palms press, eagle pose. Breathe. So notice the difference in the body here. It's externally rotated, and now we're letting it kind of close in within itself by taking these eagle arms. Take the arms back out. Exhale, windmill the hands down, frame your left foot, stepping back into your plank pose, taking your variation of vinyasa, and we'll all meet up and back for downward facing dog. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. When you're ready, let's meet at the top of the mat, either walk or jump. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to forward fold. Bend your knees, sit your hips nice and low, chair pose. Sweep up your arms, breathe. Inhale up to standing, palms press, hands to your heart center. So we're changing up this one just a little bit. We'll inhale the arms up. We'll take it back to how we originally started. Have a slight bend in our knees and release our hands back, interlacing our fingers, run through our collarbones. Then hinge from our hips, find that forward fold with the arms extended up. Kind of a combination of the two. Releasing the fingertips down. We'll inhale to lengthen our spine. We'll exhale to plant the hands down, moving through the variation of vinyasa. And then we all meet up and back for downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Deep inhale. And deep exhale. Great job, guys. Without taking that right leg up and back, draw the right knee in towards your nose. Shift your hips forward, step the right foot to the top of the mat. Ground down to the outer edge of your left heel, come all the way up. Warrior one, breathe. Soft and smooth breathing. Guiding our hips forward, right hip a little back, left hip slightly forward. Squaring your rib cage forward. Release your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Breathe here. Should feel awfully familiar. We've been here quite a few times. Ground down through your feet. Inhale, back up to standing. Sweep the arms up for a warrior one. Pivot onto your left toes. Maybe interlace your fingers behind the back again. Lengthen yourself forward. Finding warrior three. I might have to scoot myself back now that I've looked at my distance to the wall, and breathe. Have a slight bend in your right knee and cross your left knee over the right. Eagle legs, release the arms, find your eagle arms, right elbow out in front, left arm underneath, palms press, breathe. Allow your body to come back in after spreading apart. To come out of it, we'll unravel ourselves, we'll shake it out a little bit. We'll inhale the arms up. We'll exhale the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers, bending the knees, forward fold. Releasing the fingertips down, inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands down, traveling through your variation of vinyasa. I'm keeping with mine because that helps with our humble warrior. And then wherever you're at, we'll all meet up and back for down dog. Breathe here. Without taking that left leg up and back, draw the left knee in towards your nose. Shift your hips forward, step the foot to the top of the mat, ground down to the outer edge of your right heel, keeping your hips as neutral as you can, coming up for your warrior one. And breathe. Nice deep bend in the front knee, guiding ourselves towards the front of the room. Releasing our hands behind our backs, broadening through our collarbones, finding that opening. But as you open, can you humble yourself and forward fold? Humble warrior. So much strength and stability in this pose. You're keeping yourself open by folding. Breathe. Ground down through your feet. Inhale yourself back up. Now you have the option as we pivot onto our right toes. You can take a traditional warrior three, palms at the heart, or you may interlace your fingers. Lengthen yourself forward. I think I gave myself enough room this time, maybe not. And lift up that right leg, warrior three. Breathe. Have a slight bend in that left knee. Cross your right knee over. Eagle legs. Find your eagle arms. Left elbow out in front, right arm underneath. Palms press. Now, even though these poses could be so different, notice your hips are still remaining neutral. There's a huge difference between expanding the body and bringing it all in together, but our foundation stays the same. Unravel yourself, shake it out a little bit. Inhale takes the arms up. On the exhale, release the hands behind the back, interlace your fingers, bend into your knees as you forward fold down. Great job, guys. Release the fingertips down. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant your hands down, step back into plank. Lower all the way down onto your bellies. Release your head down, interlace your fingers. This time we're changing it up a little bit, full locust pose. Inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest. Hover your legs back behind you, breathe. Exhale it down, pause for a moment. Change the interlace of your fingers. Inhale, lift your head, neck, and chest. Locust pose, breathe. Shoot those knuckles back, balance on your frontal hip point. And exhale it down. Now, option is stay here and rest. Or you can take another locust. Or you can bend your knees, reach back, grab your feet or your ankles. Inhale, lift the head, neck, and chest. Shoot those shins back, finding Dhanurasana, bow pose. Exhale it down. Planting your hands down to your low ribs. This time, press yourself back. Child's pose, big toes touch, knees apart, and breathe here. Soft and smooth breathing. Finding this importance of being active and also allowing your body to rest. Call your hands over to the left. Child's pose twist. Curl your hands over to the right. Child's pose twist. Curl your hands to center. Make your child's pose active. Forearms are lifted, planting down through the palms. Walk your hands back towards your hips. Come to standing on your knees. Tucking your toes. Releasing the hands to the glutes, fingertips down. Inhale to open up the chest, rolling yourself back just a tiny bit. You can keep your hands on your glutes. You can interlace your fingers here and shoot the knuckles down. That's another variation of Ustrasana, camel pose. You may take both hands down towards the heels of the feet, or if you have your block handy or a pillow, you can always bring the pillow on your feet, raising the floor a little more, or bring your hands down to block. Find that opening here. Use your abdominal strength to come back to neutral. Bring your hands to your heart. Then sit yourself down and pause here. Allow your eyes to close for a moment. Draw closer to your breath again. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist to the left. Release the hands down. Gaze behind your left shoulder, breathe. Take an inhale, exhale, unwind to center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, twist to the right, release the hands down. Gaze behind the right shoulder, breathe. Take an inhale, exhale, unwind. Inhale the arms up. Release the hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers, what you've been doing all of class. Just broaden through your collarbones for a moment. Take the arms back up above you. And this time, wrap your arms around you, crossing your arms over the other. Give yourself a little hug here. It's also a modified version of eagle arms. And breathe, bringing your chin in towards the chest. Release your hands down, sweep your legs out in front of you. Shake out your legs a little bit. Great job, guys. Bend your knees, bring your feet on your mat. Roll yourself down onto your back. Walk your feet into your knees or right over your ankles. We're taking a different variation of bridge. So we'll take a traditional bridge, but when we come in, you'll see what we'll do. So we'll ground down through the feet, and on the inhale, we'll pick up the hips, we'll tuck and roll our shoulders underneath us. Interlace the fingers behind your back like you have all of class. Finding that lift, that opening here. On the exhale, we take the hips down and we'll bring the knees in towards the chest, moving our body in the complete opposite direction. Bring your forehead up towards the knees, squeeze tight. So allowing that duality exist, the opening and the closing, the action and the rest. Release the feet back down, knees over your ankles. Let's do that one more time. Ground down through your feet. Inhale to pick up those hips. Tuck and roll your shoulders underneath you. Interlace the fingers. Find that opening, your bridge pose. And on the exhale, we release the hips. We bring the knees in. We bring the forehead up towards the knees and we squeeze tight. We allow our body to move in the opposite direction. And then we'll release ourselves down, finding a twist. Take the arms out to the side. Twist to either the left or right, yogi's choice, because guess what? You get to do the opposite side. So either way you want to go to first. And then switch, take it to the opposite side. Then bring it back to center. Hug your knees in towards your chest again, forehead up towards the knees. Take a moment to say something kind about yourself. Take a moment to think about something kind for someone you love. And take a moment to send kindness out into the world. And then release yourself out. Legs and arms, Shavasana. Give your body fully permission to relax. Allow your eyes to close or gently soften your eyes. And just allow your body to be. No more things to do. It can just be. I invite you to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need. If you are ready to come out, you begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Extend your arms back behind you for a full body stretch back. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself one last squeeze, one last thanks. And make your way up to any comfortable seated position. And allowing the eyes to close or softening the eyes, bring one hand over your heart and the opposite hand to cross. May you be kind, may you be well, may you have peace and ease, and may you know that you belong. Sending that out to each other as well as just out into our communities and our world. Namaste.